Hi, this is Stefano and this is a Max introduction specifically for my snippets, the ste.snips or ste.snips. Kind of a modular environment where you can do visuals, you can do 3D, you can do audio, sound design, you can connect all these together and make them influence each other.
This video is part of a project called Ploc. That is a series of video tutorials, but also articles about embodied interaction. So it is for performers, musicians, movers, dancers, whomever wants to implement embedded media in their projects, in their works. What does that mean? What is embedded media? Basically, if you have visuals or projections or music or sounds that you want to use in your pieces, but you don't want to control them with buttons, with knobs, with faders, but you want to control them with your body movements, with gestures, with voice, voila, that's the right place for you. There is, of course, a website, which is linked below in the comments here on YouTube, in which you find the whole list, the whole project, okay? So go there if you're interested in having a little bit of a continuity, and also if you prefer maybe to read stuff instead of watching long videos. Everything is free, don't worry, I'm not like asking you for emails or anything. This is a project which is financed by the city of Vienna. So I'm not gonna ask for your money. Everything is just there for you. On the website, there is also an introduction about what software and how to install it on your computer, which is of course very important because you need all this stuff to be able to follow all the tutorials. Do it. Ciao.
I'm going to first make a super quick, superficial orientation in Max, like just to give you a hint of how it works. And then I'm going to show you how the snippets work. If you have questions on how to install Max, how to get it running, do this. Check these tutorials here. Whoop. They are on YouTube. Search for Dear John Reed, Max 9 tutorials. You see you have download and install, set up Max on your computer. There are also a lot of tutorials about Max itself, like how to learn really Max from scratch. But as we are going to use my snippets package that makes everything faster and quicker, yeah, we don't need those. But if you want, check them out. Let's start with turning Max on. I have it on already. You might get a kind of an introduction window, like a welcome window. Just get rid of that. If you are on Windows, you might have something like this. Well, maybe without errors. Something like this. And you have the menu bar, not here where I have. I'm on Mac, but you have it in the window. So just, if you're on Windows, take care. Whenever I go to the menu, your menu is probably inside your Max console. Here. Hop. We go to File. We go to New Patcher. Boom. This is a patcher. What is a patcher? It's a Max file. Nothing crazy. Let's start with the basics of how does this work. There is nothing here. We are gonna program. We are gonna do our things in here. And Max has two modes. You can either be in kind of unlocked, like it is right now. You see here on the bottom left of your patcher, there is a padlock. This is now locked. This is now unlocked. When the padlock is unlocked, when the patcher is unlocked, you can program, you can add new modules, you can cable them, you can do stuff. When it is locked, you can use certain things that you created. For example, if I create a button, I can push the button. If I have a slider, I can move the slider. Why am I just talking? I can just show it to you. Look, I've got a new object. I do a slider. This is a slider. I'm gonna zoom. Hop. This is a slider. I am now in unlocked. I can create the slider. I can move the slider around. Now I lock my patch. I can't move the slider around my patch, but I can control with my cursor the slider. You get what I mean. Cool. Hop, hop. Let's start. First, let's do a comment box. Very important. You see up here, we have a bunch of icons. We have object, message, comment. Click, drag and drop. Voila, this is a comment box. Write what I write, okay? So, CMD, Command E on Mac. You can lock and unlock your patch. Lock, unlock, patch. Maybe with a little slash. If you're on Windows, Jitter, Control E. Windows. Voila. Lock and unlock the patch. So instead of going always to the padlock and clicking, it's a long way to go. Command E or Control E. Voila. Great. Another way, if you don't like this thing, you can also command click. Command click on Mac or Jitter. Click. Yep, on Windows to unlock the patch. Great. So amazing, right? Comment box. It does nothing, but you can write stuff inside. And it's always good to comment your patches, comment your programming, because the day after you open your file, you're not going to remember what you did. So let's go on. C for comment box. Exactly. Look here. If I go here, where I grabbed my comment, there is always a suggestion, C. Or if I want to do a message, we'll see later what a message is, M. An object, N. So if I press C, boom, new comment box. Get acquainted with these shortcuts as soon as possible because they make you 1,000 times faster. And if you're gonna go every time up there, it's gonna be hell. Don't do that. Learn the shortcuts immediately and you're gonna be super fast. Then let's go on. The most important thing in Macs are objects. Okay? How do I do an object? You can drag it from here, but we're gonna immediately get used to the shortcuts. New object. And you know what? Object. N. N, new object. If I press N, boom, this is a box. This is an object. I can give it a name and create an object that does something. For example, if I write random, first you see that when I start typing, I get a kind of a suggestion menu. Cool. You can type the whole thing, or you can just click on the suggestion, click out, boom, you created a random object. What is first an object? An object is a bit of a box that has some code inside. It listens to stuff that you tell to it, and it reacts accordingly. It's pre-programmed, it does something special. You need to know how to talk with it, and then it will give you what you want, hopefully. This is an object. Look how it looks. Square corners, this couple of stripes, brighter stripes on top and on bottom. This is an object. What if I want to do something else? Let's say a button. Button with B. Cool. Let's do it. B. This is a button. Great. What does a button? Why do I need a button? Well, you know, if I have a random, I'm gonna do a patch here on this left side, okay? Just to show you stuff. If I'm gonna do a new object with N, random, you can also go with your right arrow key. Is this right for you? Whatever. Right arrow key. Just write this. Let's write 10. Okay. Also, you see arguments. Ooh, range 10. Range of 10. Random range 10. Let's see what this does. I can put a button with B on top of the random. I can connect them. Look, check. What is happening here? I'm connecting the output of the bang with the input of the random. How do I know it's an output? How do I know it's an input? The outputs are at the bottom of an object or of a module. the inlets are on the top of a module. Now the output of the bang, which is a trigger, will go to the random. The random will feel triggered and will give you out the result, which will be a random number between 0 and 9. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, it's not until 10 because computers like counting from 0. So a random range of 10, and it's gonna be from 0 to 9. That's life, what to do. Now, how do I see this random number? Now there is nothing that can display my random number. We can do a number box. You see up here, numbers. Click. If you click, you have different kind of number boxes also. Oh my God, so many things. As usual, you can drag it from here, or you can press shortcut I for integer number. These are both integer numbers. Integer, it's probably integer, right? Integer number I. I'm gonna write it down. Chop chop. I. Integer number box. I'm gonna do it also. I. Voila. Also gonna do another one here. I. You see how the object module appears where my cursor is placed? Good to know, right? Voila. Now let's give it a try. Remember before when I said if you want to use something in your patch, you need to lock it. Otherwise, you can't interact with the user interface. The button is a user interface object. If I want to press it, I can't press it now that I'm in edit mode, so that my patch is unlocked. I need to lock my patch. You see this padlock? Click, boom. Or remember, Command E or Control E on Windows, or Command click in the nothingness of the patch. Really important. You need to Command click or Control click if you are on Windows in the background of the patch. This I should write. This is important. Command click, Control click on patcher background to unlock and lock the patch. I repeat, you need to lock your patch to click the stuff. Command E to lock my patch. Click the button. Boom. 3. Boom. 0. Boom. 2. Boom. 0. Okay, you got it. Right? Random numbers between 0 and 9. Cool. Let's go on. I will unlock my patch so I can do some stuff and add some stuff. We are using now an integer number box, but there are also float number box. F, float number box. What is a float number box and why is it different? Well, integer number, a whole number. Float number with a dot, decimals, you know? I'm gonna show you. If I lock the patch, number boxes work like this. You can click on them. I'm here now, okay? Click on them. Triangle turns yellow. You can type something inside like 12 or 42. Click out, boom, the number is inside the box. We can use these to send stuff to our objects to control them, okay? You can also, which is a bit more fast, you can click and drag up or drag down. Drag up, drag down, you see? To kind of slide the numbers up and down. You can do the same with the float number box. Click, type something, click out, boom, the number is in. You can click and drag up, click and drag down. Take care with the float number box. And I'm gonna zoom in. Very important. You see my cursor, okay? If my cursor is on the left side of the number box, I can change the integers, so I can go very quickly by clicking and dragging really quickly up and down to really high numbers. OMG, what is this? Nearly 6,000, wow. Click and 0 and click. Reset to 0. This happens when you have your cursor on the left side of the box. You have very big changes, okay? If you want to have a little bit more control, go a little bit more to the right. Click, drag, you see now I'm changing decimals. If you want to be super, super precise, go to the right, to the edge of the box. Click and drag, and now you see how precise I can be. Whoa, cool. I'll tell you this now, you'll forget it, but hopefully when you have a problem with the number box and you can't be as precise as you want, hopefully you will remember this. Go to the right side of the number box and you can be more precise. Click, type something, bloop, to just set a number. Let's do a pizza chooser. I always do a pizza chooser because it's fun. A message box. It's this one here, you see? You can get it from up here. If you drag it down, it has rounded corners. It doesn't have the lighter stripes on the top and of the bottom like an object has. And you can write stuff inside like hi, or you can write a number if you want, or you can write hi, hi, ho, ho. Different words. You can write a list of numbers. So it contains stuff. It can contain very different things. We can set something inside. For example, names of pizzas. Margherita, of course. Then, you can select something, copy paste, of course. You can also, like many other programs, you can press and keep pressed Option, click and drag, and you duplicate something, okay? This is something I do very often. Option, click and drag, voila. Anyways, Margherita, then let's say mortazza, which is mortadella. Let's do another one. Quattro formaggi, quattro stagioni. Let's do a fifth. Nduja. Nduja is great. It's like a super soft salame, which is also spicy, from Calabria. Let's do a new object. N. New object. N. This object will be select. What will it select? 5 numbers. It will select a 0, a 1, a 2, a 3, 4. Now we have 5 pizza names. And we have a random that gives us 10 random numbers. Well, let's change that. Let's say we want 5 random numbers. Each number will trigger 1 pizza. Okay? Let's do it like this. Number goes into our select. What does the select do? You tell the select, hey, you gotta look out for these numbers. Or words also. Look out for these things. Something comes in, check if that is that, you know? Dependently from if it is something that the select needs to look out for, it will output a bang, a trigger, from a different output. If you go with your cursor on the output, you see bang if input matches 0, bang if input matches 1, but you can put whatever here. You can put like ho ho, he he. You see, now we got less outputs because we only have 2 elements that the select is watching out for. Bang if input matches ho ho, bang if input matches he he. Cool. I hope you got it. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, I'm gonna connect these up. Oops. Voila. How do we see this? We can do a new object and print. This object will print whatever you throw inside of it into the Max console. We can connect this. You can connect input to output, output to input, doesn't matter. And let's see if it works. To see the console, go on the right side of your patch. You see this? Max console. Click it. Voila, this is the console. There is nothing now. Great. There might be something. I had to delete some stuff before to clear it here. You can clear it with X. lock my patch, Command E or Control click, Control E, Command click in the background of the patch. Have it locked. Now you can bang. Let's bang this bang. Wow, Margarita, you see? Print Margarita. Boop. Bang. 3. 4 stagioni. So you see how this works? I click something. I get a random number. This is a 4. Select selects the 4. Because it is a 4, it outputs here. And it clicks on 4 stagioni. Messages can also be clicked with your cursor, with your mouse. But as you can see, you can also trigger them automatically in Max. I'm going to show you one thing. Unlock your patch, Command E. If I do an object, which is called slider, you see, I click out, it changes its appearance and it becomes something else. It happens sometimes with some objects in Max. For example, I can do a jit.p window. Jit.p window, yes. And it turns into a patcher window, which is a window that we can use to see video, to watch, video content or video signal inside our patch. So sometimes some objects will turn into something else. Maybe you know what, I'm gonna put it here because it's good to remember. Jit.window. Okay, now you see one thing. Haha, why is this called jit.pwindow instead of only pwindow? Well, there are different objects in Max. They do different things. There are kind of normal Max objects like the one we are using here. This is JIT pwindow. JIT is the video part of Max. And then there are also audio objects. For example, let's create, I'm gonna do a new object with N. Let's create a click. There is this little wave symbol. Whoop. So all the audio objects end with the tilde symbol. This is how it's called. Because it's cute. It reminds of a sound wave, so that makes sense. You can also create another object, DAC, tilde. If you don't know where the tilde is on your keyboard, just, select the suggestion in the menu. You can connect it like this. The DAC is digital to analog conversion. It's basically your speakers or whatever you have as an output, as a sound output. And let's do like this, hop. And then I will lock my patch. And I will click the button. And the click clicks. Okay. You also see that audio cables are kind of tigery. They are striped, yellow and black. Video cables are either green or dark blue. Multi-channel audio cables are light blue. So depending from the kind of data that goes through the cable, you will see different cables. This also helps you to understand what is happening in your patch, okay? Little detail. Let's lock the patch. No. Let's just go here. On the menu, options, audio status. You see here, output device. You should have something that makes sense here, okay? I have my speakers of my laptop. You can select an audio device if you have an audio device. You can also decide not to have different inputs. This is usually fine with Mac, but often Windows kind of get confused. So if you don't hear the click when you click the button, it might be that you need to select another audio driver. Okay, try different ones. Also, when you select a new audio driver, or whenever you change any of these settings, you need to turn your sound on again. Let me try. Yep. You see this little on-off symbol? It needs to be blue. That is, the indicator that the sound in Max is working. Otherwise, if it's gray, it's not working. Whenever you change something, click that thing 1,000 times until it gets blue. Cool. Let's see some snippets. Okay. So I will put this thing kind of on the side. Maybe here. This we don't need. Put it here. Voila. And I'm gonna show you a little bit of this snippet stuff. So you have the snippets installed because you checked the article on my website, right? If not, give it a check. When you have them installed, you go here on the left side, snippets, and then here, there is this search field. You write for the name of the snippet you want to have. For example, if I want to use my camera, my laptop camera, I'm gonna search for cam. Now I have a lot of them, different experiments, but you should see st.pixcam and also st.3dcam. Let's use the pixcam. Up, voila. You get this popping out.
As you see, these snippets work. Basically, they open as an extra window on the side, right? So it is kind of important that you are not in full screen with Max, like with the patcher window. That shouldn't be in full screen. Otherwise, when you open a snippet, or like when you drop a snippet from the menu, then it will open as a second tab and also be in full screen. So that's like very, very confusing and it's not fun to work with. So do not use Max in full screen. Of course, we will go in full screen with our output window, but that's another thing. Keep your patch not in full screen, okay?
This is a bit more, more user-friendly than the Max objects, the bare-bone Max modules. So you put a snippet there, it does something, but you already have a little bit of a window with some interface, so you can do things already. You can also interact with the options of this specific snippet from outside, change it in real time, automatically, blah, blah, blah. This is a camera object. You can select different cameras, can select different resolutions, stuff like that. In the snippets, you usually see the name of the snippet in this window, and all of them have a description. So you can click on description, something will open with a description of the snippet you're using. Cool. What else? Well, a lot of them have an off-on button. You see? And if you want to see inside the snippet how it is done, because you are feeling very adventurous, or because you actually know how to use Max and you want to see how they're done, or modify them, here there is this edit. Click on this. This should open, and you see the inside. Okay? This is how the whole snippet is working. Boom. Let's create another snippet. I'm gonna go here again. I'm gonna search for a movement. There is this one. st pix get movement. Drop it here. Let's connect them. Voila. Now the other snippet opened up, and you see what it does. It's checking the video camera that I feed in it, and it is kind of grabbing the movement out of it. If I'm staying still, there's nothing. If I move, you see this kind of silhouette. This is the movement. Cool. You can, by the way, close all these opened snippets if they already do what you like, and you don't need to touch anything inside. Just close them. Cool. By the way, you can drag snippets when your patch is unlocked, only when it's unlocked. You can, but basically, let's do like this. Whenever you try to do something, pushing a button or creating an object, and you can't do that, and you're getting frustrated, just unlock or lock the patch and try it out again. Okay? Let's get another snippets. Let's get a starter pack. Let's search for star. You should see ste.starterpack. Drop it. It has a bunch of stuff. Take care not to, overlap it on other things and then create a mess. What you can do is this. As soon as you drag and drop something, hop. If that stuff is overlapping with some objects you already have on your patch, just immediately, because they are still selected as a one chunk, click and drag them somewhere else. Do not click somewhere and now they are unselected, and now selecting them is going to take forever. As soon as you drop something, move it somewhere that makes sense when it is still selected as a bunch. So again, starter pack, plop, move it, voila. I'm gonna move a bit everything, so I'm gonna select everything and move it. I'm gonna show you something. You see these peaks get movement? It's checking like how much movement is happening in the video feed of the camera that I'm feeding it, and as a result, it gives me a float number, kind of quantifying the movement, and what is this? A grayscale image and a black and white image. I can check these videos with the beautiful Jitter window that we did previously. So I'm gonna copy paste, put it here, and you see grayscale. It's kind of a cute image. Or black and white. Here we got a number coming out of here. It will makes no sense to feed it into a window. So we can create a number box, a float number box with F. Hop, connected, voila. Now you see that. Okay, we don't need a window anymore. Oh no, actually I'll keep it there because it makes visualize this thing nicely. You see that if I am still, everything is black, and I get a kind of a 0. When I move a little bit, the number rises. When I move a lot, the number goes up. The more you move, the higher the number you get. Voila. What do we do with this? We are going to use it to control something. What are we going to control? Well, what do we get here? The starter pack includes what? A world. So you see, you get an output window. You can see how fast your world is thinking. Like now it's going 60 frames per second, which is good. But sometimes it happens that your patch gets heavy and then your computer can't think so fast anymore. And you will see this dropping. This is a good sign that you should kind of care a bit for your patch and make it lighter. We have autosave. Very important. All the things that you have in the snippets, if I lock my patch, I can double click on the snippet. Voila. All the little parameters, let's say the world, you see there's a lot of stuff here. All these things get saved automatically when you save your patch, when you have an autosave. Always have an autosave. It's saving your life. We also have, with the starter kit, an audio out with a little sound connected to it, just to, get you going immediately. There is also a load mess one. This is actually not a snippet. As you see, it looks like a normal max object because it is a normal max object. I just placed it there. It is disconnected, but you can, if you want, connect it. And what this will do is that next time you open the patch, the load mess will send 1, and that 1 will play the audio file automatically. Let's keep it like this. I want to control the speed of the sound with my movement. How do I control the speed of the sound? Well, this is a playlist object. What you can do when you have a max object or a module like this, you want to change something about it. You want to check what kind of options you have. You can go with your cursor on the input. You can right click. And you get this big menu with all the options you can change about that thing. and it is overwhelming. It is too much stuff. But if you kind of know what you want to do, you can search for something that kind of makes sense. For example, speed. If you click it, this thing gets created. This is an error UI, or attribute user interface. An attribute is an option of an object or of a module. Voila. Now we can control this with this thingy. Let's give it a try. So I'm going to unlock my patch, Command E or Control E, or Command click, Control click in the background. And we can just connect this, the output of the float number here, into the input of the error UI of the speed and see what happens. We need to play this sound, so lock the patch again, play. Voila. So as you see, we can control with our movement the speed of this sound file. It kind of works, but it can be better. What can be better is the numbers that now we are using to control the speed are like whatever number we get from the movement, right? So we don't really have much control on what is coming in here, what is coming in from the sensor, let's say. Because this depends on the camera, depends on the light in the room, depends of how close am I to the camera. We have no control here, but we would like to have control, right? Because I want to know and I want to choose the way I speed up or slow down this sound file. So to do that, we can scale the numbers that come in from the interaction into a range of numbers that make sense, that we like for the speed control of the sound. How do we do that? We do that with a snippet. Command E, unlock your patch, go to your snippets, and search for scale. Ooh. You should see 3 snippets, STE snippets, in-out scale, in-scale, out scale. Let's grab the in-out scale. The in-out scale is a double snippet. It has the in-scale and the out-scale together. And let's use them. Delete this patch code here. We are not going directly anymore. We're going to pass through the in-scale and then also the out-scale and then control the speed. So what are these two snippets doing? We have the in-scale. Let's plug it. Basically, numbers coming from the interaction. These numbers are, as I said before, whatever. They go from who knows what to who knows what. The in-scale checks those numbers and normalize them into a range of numbers that we can kind of understand and is normalized from 0 to 1. And once we have that normalized value, we can read it, we can see how it works, and we can send it around to control different things. Whenever we want to control a thing, dependently from the thing we want to control and how we want to control it, we use an outscale with different parameters that relates to, in this case, the values of the speed that we want to use. Now, let's see that in practice. I'm gonna lock the patch, double click on the in scale. This is it. We have these two values here. These are important, but we don't need to put them in ourselves. We can press this auto toggle. When it blinks, it is kind of reading what kind of numbers come in and try to understand the minimum, the smaller number, the smallest number, and the highest number, the maximum. And these are the two numbers that kind of describe the range of incoming numbers from the interaction, okay? So what you're gonna do when this auto button is on, you're gonna move. You know what? I will turn it on again. Turn it off, turn it on. You move and you don't move. So you give it the maximum amount of movement and the minimum amount of movement. Once you're done, check these. If they look okay, turn off the auto toggle. Very important. Turn it off. Otherwise, it keeps on reading and try to understand stuff. That's not good. Turn it off. Cool. This range kind of looks good. If you check the number coming in. Yep. And you see the slider. If the slider here behaves nicely, like it kind of gives me a good visualization of my movement and the amount of movement. When this feels good, then everything is good. Let's then focus on the outscale. So lock your patch, double click on the outscale. This is it. We see again the movement coming in. We have other options, but we don't care about those for now. And we have output minimum, output maximum. Now, these two numbers, we don't have to really search for them or adapt to anything. We need to literally choose them. We need to make a choice that is how we want to control the speed, in this case, of the sound. Let's do that choice. So let's make that. Let's play the sound and let's check. What is the smallest number I want to have for the speed? What is the slowest the sound will go? 0.2. You can also say 0. Like if I don't move, the sound should stop. The speed of the sound should go nothing. What happens when I move a lot? What is the maximum speed that I want to reach? Is it 2? Is it 3? 4? I would say 2. So when I move a lot, maximum speed 2. When I don't move, actually I will go for 0.5. Okay, now let's put these two values into the outscale. So double click on the outscale with your patch locked, so it opens up. And we're gonna go for 0.5 minimum, 2 maximum. You can put whatever values you like. I put these ones. Then we can close this down and unlock your patch, connect these two, lock the patch, press play. Voila. So generally, if you cabled your interaction, it's good to try it out and retry it out and feel how it feels, how the media responds to your movement or to whatever you are tracking. And in case, you gotta maybe go back into the in scale and fix a little bit these two numbers, or going back to the out scale and fix a little bit these two numbers. So play around with those. It's a bit of a boring thing to do, but if you get a nice interaction, then you can control this media in an expressive way, and it's always way nicer than something that kind of half works, half doesn't. Cool. Let's do a little last thing. I would unlock the patch, take this output here. This is the video output of the movement. Plug it into the STE3D world. What is the STE3D world? It's a video output. There it is. If you want, you can press ESC on your keyboard and go full screen. And this is also very convenient when you have a projector or another screen and you have it set to extend the space of your screen, so it's not mirroring whatever you have on your primary screen, but extending it, meaning you can get the window, move it to the projector or to the other screen, and then when you're there, you press ESC, it goes in full screen in your projection, and on your laptop, for example, you still see your patch. And so the final result will be something like this. Another little thing, as you saw, sometimes you don't know where the output window is because it's behind your patch. So what you can do now is double click with your patch locked, double click on the 3D world. It opens up. You have a couple of options here. One is floating. When you toggle on floating, the window output is always on top of everything. This can be a way to always have it on top. If you don't like it and you just want to find your output window, you can just then also toggle it off and it goes back again if you want. This is a way to find it quickly. That is it, I think. Next time and next tutorials will be always with the snippets, so we can be super fast. We'll be always with, some kind of embodied interactions. We will control sound, we will control videos, and we will see different examples of how to use these kind of patches, keep them simple, and rather check how to get very different results just by changing little things. Substituting the audio sample with a video, or changing a different parameter that is not the speed but something else. So we will keep the programming side as simple and as slim as possible and try to explore as many possibilities that we can so that you can use different things in your shows, in your performances, and so on. Yeah, very important. Go to your menu, File, and Save, or Save As. Also very important, whenever you name a patch, do not put spaces, okay? So don't say like max space intro. This, not good, not good, no spaces. Computers don't like spaces, they do weird things with those. Either use an underscore, or maybe a dash, or maybe camel case. So every time there is a new word, capital letter. You choose. I'll put this on the desktop. Voila. That is it. Till next time. Ciao.